Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video I thought I would do a Q&A for you. I haven't done a Q&A before, but I did mention a couple of videos back that I would be answering some questions and asked you guys to send them to me. I also mentioned it on Twitter and Instagram, and I had a lot of questions sent to me, especially on Instagram, so thank you for that. But before I get on to answering any of your questions, I thought I would just address a couple of things. First of all, I am sitting on my living room floor and not on a chair. The reason for that is I went to put my camera onto my tripod earlier, and I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but I've broken the threading on the camera so it doesn't actually connect onto the tripod anymore. So for the last few videos that I've filmed, I've actually been sellotaping the camera onto the tripod. It sounds ridiculous, but it does work. But as I went to tape the camera onto the tripod today, I ran out of sellotape, so instead my camera is currently resting on about 15 hardback books. After that, I then went to put my tripod behind the stack of books because I have a clip-on lamp, and I thought that would be good for lighting still. I can just move the tripod behind the camera, and as I put the lamp on, the clip snapped. So I now can't use my tripod, and I currently have no lamp because I can't clip it onto anything. So I've had to move the stack of books in front of the patio doors, so the lighting is going to be a little bit different. It might end up being better than normal, but it is going to be different for today. So a lot of you guys sent me questions, especially through Instagram, so thank you for that. There were a few questions as well that I was asked a number of times, so I'll definitely be answering those ones, but I have selected a few of them and I have them saved on my phone, and I will start answering them now for you. So I asked for questions that were a bit of a mixture, whether they were personal so you could find out a little bit more about me, or whether they were about books, because that is mainly what this channel is about, and just if there was anything else random that you wanted to ask me. So the first question is, how are you after your surgery? So for those of you who didn't know, I had a small operation towards the end of last year. I think it was at the beginning of October. It was just a small incision on my lower left side, just above my hip, but I'm absolutely fine now. Okay, let's choose a book question. So the next one is, if you don't like the first book in a series, will you try and read the rest of the series? Now usually I would say yes for this, because that's what I normally do, because I find a lot of the time the first book can focus a lot on world building and setting the scene, and the next books do get better. But I have also read some books recently that are the first in a series, and I haven't enjoyed them as much as I want to, and because there are so many other books that I really want to get to, I'm not going to force myself to carry on with a series that I'm not enjoying at the moment. Eventually I might carry on with them, but for now I'm going to focus on the books that I actually want to read that I think I might enjoy. The next question is, what was the last song you listened to? So I'm just going to go over to my Spotify. It's currently on Consequences by Camila Cabello, but I've only just started to listen to that song, so let's see what the last one I completely listened to was. And that was In My Blood by Shawn Mendes, and I absolutely love this song. It's been on repeat since it came out earlier last week. I can't wait to hear the rest of that Shawn Mendes album. I'm a big fan of Shawn's music, so I'm really interested to hear what the rest of that album's going to sound like. Okay, so the next question is, your house is burning down and you can only save 3 books. Which ones do you choose? First of all, as much as I love my books, I don't think they would be my main priority if my house was on fire. There are definitely things in here that are worth saving more than the books, as horrible as that sounds, but books can be replaced. But I will still answer the question, and I know for a fact that one book I would definitely save is my special edition of P.S. I Love You by Cecilia Ahern. Okay, so the second book that I would choose to save is my illustrated edition of Cinderella by Disney Press, and it's the film tie-in version, so all of the illustrations are based on the live-action film, and I love it. For the third book, I kind of want to choose A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J Maas, but it'll be a bit weird to choose the second book in a series to save when you then wouldn't have the rest. Okay, we're going to go with that. I'm going to choose for my third book A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J Maas, because it is my favourite book in the series, and I love Sarah J Maas, so I need to choose one of her books. Okay, the next question is, do you have any brothers or sisters? And I do. I have one brother. He's 2 years younger than me, and his name is Ellis. The next question is, which 5 YouTube channels do you watch the most? Let me just go onto my YouTube. I know 2 that I definitely watch all the time, but let's give you a mixture of different people that I subscribe to that I watch, rather than just listing all book people. Okay, so if I had to give the top 5 people that I watch on YouTube, first of all I would say Zoella, which I think is kind of an obvious one for me. I just love her and I watch all of her videos. Obviously I join in with the Zoella Book Club when they've been on as well, so I enjoy watching all of her videos. In terms of book channels, my favourite is Hayley in Bookland. Hers was the first channel I ever found on BookTube where people were talking about books. I didn't even know that was a thing until I found her channel. I've also been watching her since she was Hales Hearts NYC as well, and she changed her name, I think it was last year. so I've been around for a while for her. One of the channels that I've probably been watching for the longest is Casey Holmes. She does amazing makeup. If you haven't seen any of her videos and you're interested in makeup, then definitely check her channel out. She's amazing. Another channel that I always watch is the Dolan twins, which is completely different to anything else that I watch, but their videos always cheer me up when they come out on a Tuesday. I really like watching them. And for the last one, I think I've probably got to choose someone else that I watch to do with books, so we'll go with Read by Zoe. I've watched her videos for quite a few years now as well, and I really enjoy watching them still. Next question is, how is the writing going? If you didn't know, I took part in NaNoWriMo last year, which is National Novel Writing Month, during the month of November, and I finished my first draft of my novel and I haven't actually touched it since. But it's currently 2 weeks Easter holidays for me because I work in a school, so I've got 2 weeks off at the moment, so I definitely want to have a look at it in the next couple of weeks and see if I can start editing it. I'll leave links in the description box for my NaNoWriMo vlogs if you're interested in watching my writing progress during that month, and if I mention any other videos then I'll also leave those links in the description box for you as well. The next question is the last book that made me cry. Now, if you know me at all, you'll know that it doesn't take very much to make me cry, but let me have a look and see through these books that I've read recently. Surprisingly, I don't think any of the books that I've actually read this year have made me cry, so I need to go back a bit further. So I haven't actually read a book this year yet that's made me cry, so I've had to go back into the books that I read in 2017, and the last book that I know made me cry was Wonder. I read this book really quickly because I wanted to read it before going to see the film, and I'd booked the tickets to go and see the film on a Friday, I think, and I started reading the book on a Tuesday, and I managed to finish it just before we left to see the film. I definitely recommend reading the book, and I definitely recommend watching the film. Both of them made me cry. Okay, next question is, where is your favourite place that you've travelled to? Without a doubt, hands down, the best place that I've ever travelled to is New York. I've been to New York twice. The first time I went was in the summer of 2013, and the second time I went was in the winter of 2016, and I actually spent Christmas there. I'm really glad that I got to go at 2 different times of the year, so I got to experience the really hot summer weather, and then I got to experience the really cold winter weather as well. Unfortunately, we missed out on any snow. It had snowed just before we arrived, and by the time we got there, most of it had melted. I would definitely like to go back again, and if I could, I would go back in the autumn because I'd really love to walk through Central Park in the middle of autumn and experience Thanksgiving and Halloween there. I'd love to travel to different places in the US, but I'd go back to New York in a heartbeat. The most books I've ever read in a week. I'm not actually sure how many books I've ever read across a whole week. I've read 9 books in one day when I did my 24-hour readathon last summer, which again I will leave a link for in the description box if you want to watch that vlog. And I read 9 during that day, so I'd probably say that was the week where I read the most books overall, but I couldn't tell you how many I read during that week because I don't know what else I read around that time. But seeing as I read 9 books in one day, I'm probably going to say it would be that week. Okay, so for the next question I need to get up, and that is, what is your 8th book on your 2nd bookshelf? So I'll go and grab that now for you. I'm going to have to sit with my legs out for the rest of the video, I think, because I've given myself pins and needles in my left leg by sitting with my legs crossed at the beginning of this video. So the 8th book on my 2nd bookshelf was The Sun Is Also a Star by Nicolai. This book was a gift for my birthday from my mum last year, and I finally got around to reading it earlier last month because it was the book choice of the month for the Foyles YA book club that I attend. I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars, and I was very close to tears at the end of reading this one, so I would definitely recommend it. The next question is, what are your favourite flowers? I love hydrangeas, especially blue ones. I also really like white roses, but I would probably say my favourite flowers are peonies, especially the pale pink ones. So I think we'll do 2 more questions. The next one is, which author do you own the most books by? That one is really easy, and that is Cecilia Ahern. I have a whole shelf dedicated to just her books. And the last question was one that I was asked quite a few times, and that is, do you prefer blogging or making videos? Now, I love both blogging and making videos. Making videos definitely takes a lot more work because I have to plan out what I'm doing, I have to sit down and film it, I then have to edit it, and it just takes a little bit more time and that little bit more work, but I do really enjoy it. But I also really do love blogging because writing is a passion of mine, and it's also where I started. I've been blogging for longer than I have been making videos. Unfortunately, my blog has suffered over the last few months. I haven't really been that dedicated to put any blog posts up, and I haven't really felt the motivation to do that either. But because I've got a couple of weeks off at the moment, as I mentioned earlier, it's currently the Easter holidays, I'm hoping that I can sit down and have a good look through my blog and decide in which direction I want to take it. The thing I'm struggling with at the moment is balance of time, because I love blogging, it's where I started, and I want to dedicate more time to that. I don't ever want to stop doing that. I also love having a YouTube channel. As I just said, it does take up a lot of time, but I really enjoy making them. I also need to dedicate a lot of time to reading, because a lot of the time I'm talking or writing about books, so I need to have read the books before I can make any videos or write any blog posts about them. But I also spent so much time last November writing that first draft of a YA novel, and I really want to dedicate some time to editing that and making that into something. And obviously I have a job as well. I work Monday to Friday, and that is always going to have 100% of my commitment. Like, my job is the most important thing. I absolutely love what I do, and these things with the books and the YouTube and the blogging, these are just things that I enjoy doing on the side. So really I just need to come up with a way where I can balance all of these things and do a little bit of everything. It may be that at some point YouTube videos have to take a back seat for a little while, or I can only post one video every 2 weeks rather than every week, or I can only post one blog post a week rather than the 2 that I was originally trying to post, even though I haven't done that for quite a few months now. So I'm going to be having a sit down soon and having a good think about what it is that I want to do, and I will update you guys with anything that I come up with. So I did have more questions saved on my phone, but I think I'm going to leave it there for today because I'm sure I've answered more than 10. If you do have any other questions, then do send them to me because I can save them up for a future Q&A. As always, I will leave all of my social media links in the description box below for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again soon with another video. Bye!